More news coming in now. Haryana government has now sent an application to the central government seeking to import medicines that are used to treat mucormycosis, including amphotericin B. Like I was mentioning earlier, several state governments have flagged the scarcity of this particular drug, which is why now Haryana has decided to scout the globe as well. Joining us on this broadcast are Dr. Hani Ashok, Head of ENT and Head of Neck and Surgery, Sakra World Hospital from Bengaluru. Also with us on this broadcast is Dr. Pavan Hoja, who is the Senior Neurologist from Fortis Hiranandani Hospital, Navi Mumbai. Dr. Hani Ashok, I would like to come to you first. We've often seen that most of these cases of black fungus or mucormycosis are believed to be seen in those who have a pre-existing condition like diabetes. Is it something that only diabetic patients should be wary of or should look out for early signs, or can this happen to anybody in their post-recovery period? Dr. Hani Ashok, if you can hear me. We'll try and fix that line, but I believe Dr. Pavan Hoja is with us here. Dr. Hoja, I would like to ask you that question. Is black fungus or the risk of mucormycosis something that only those with a pre-existing condition like diabetes be wary of, or is it something that anybody can contract in their post-recovery period?
Yeah. So it's a great question, and we all are aware that there are a lot of risk factors, which people, if they have, then they can contract this opportunistic infection. So first and foremost is the one which you mentioned, that is diabetes, which is uncontrolled. The other risk factors one must be aware are the use of steroids, long-term use of steroids, use of ventilator. Those patients who are extremely sick, who've been in hospital for a long time, they are on oxygen. So, and those patients who are on any other medicines like, tocilizumab or other immunosuppressant agents, those patients who have suffered from malignancy or they have some transplant done and medicines are being taken for that. So these are the risk factors that one must be aware. And not only those patients who have diabetes, but also all these people should be considered at risk for mucormycosis, and it should be like some kind of a surveillance should be done to detect these patients very early on.
Right, surveillance at an early stage is important. Dr. Ashok, what are the early signs that one must look out for as far as treating mucormycosis is concerned?
Usually in all these predisposing factors, like that post-COVID has uncontrolled diabetic and has renal problems, on steroids, high-dose steroids. So such patients, we have to look in for early signs. Early signs are usually it enters through the nose and the paranasal sinuses. So the patient can have some stuffiness of nose, nasal blockage, some discharge, lactation discharge, or any crusting in the nose, we should be careful of. And also, it can enter through the skin also, or through the oral cavity from the teeth. So if there's any blackening of the teeth, loose tooth, blackening of the skin, loss of sensation of the skin, or redness of the eye, because these, from the sinuses, these can rapidly go into the eye. So redness of eye, any double vision, swelling of the eye, or diminished vision, severe headache, all these are signs which direct us that the patient needs immediate evaluation to rule out fungal sinusitis or mucormycosis. So any patient who is sick,
right, Dr. Ashok, is there
who has recovered, sorry?
Right.
So I've just recovered.
Right, Dr. Ashok, sorry to interrupt you there. I just wanted to ask you, is this something that only affects a certain age group, or is it something that should be looked at in all sorts of age groups? Because also now we have seen that even children are getting severely affected as far as COVID-19 is concerned.
Yeah, look, earlier we would think that an elderly with all these comorbid conditions would get a fungal sinusitis or mucormycosis. But now, post-COVID, we are seeing that young, healthy people are also getting mucormycosis. So there's no age bar as such. And also we are seeing that people not just who have severe uncontrolled diabetics are getting it, even without that also we are finding mucormycosis. So any post-COVID infection patient who has not been on high dose steroids or patient was not in an ICU also should be checked for all these things to rule out mucormycosis.
Right now, Dr. Ojha, one of the reasons why we are seeing this rise in mucormycosis, like both you and Dr. Ashok also pointed out, is the use of steroids, which is one of the treatment methods to treat COVID-19, and that is happening in otherwise healthy individuals as well. But what is the alternative if we do not use steroids so that we can avert a situation where the patient contracts black fungus? What is an alternative for that?
Yes. So first we understand why we use steroids. Steroids are used only if it is indicated in most of the centers which are, like have a team for COVID treatment. Many times these steroids are used rampantly by some doctors who are not so qualified, and there lies a problem. They don't educate the patients that how well they should control their diabetes and other risk factors. So there lies the problem. So if there is during COVID, if there is an activation of the whole immune system so that we can have multiple problems arising out of the COVID, like, lung problems and other issues. So that's why we use the steroids. So I would suggest that we should not entirely blame the steroids, but whenever it is required, we use it judiciously and also prime the patient and their families that we are using steroids because we are required, and you also be on the guard and watch out for these symptoms. There's also another policy that one could adapt, is that once the patient are fine and they are ready for discharge, we could sort of do some kind of a screening to look at those patients who are going out of the hospital, do an endoscopy in the nose and see if there is take a swab and see if there is any signs of any mucor coming. So, those patients could be treated very, very early.
Right.
One strategy could work.
Right now, Dr. Ashok, there are several misconceptions or myths, so to say, as far as this infection is concerned, because there isn't enough information or awareness about this condition called mucormycosis. One of that is that this could also spread through a humidifier or through taking steam, something that is often done by COVID-19 recovering patients.
Yeah, this mucormycosis is a very common fungus which is present all around us. So it's there in the dust, in the cow dung, in the water, in damp areas, in decayed vegetables. So anywhere and everywhere this mucor is present. But only thing when our body immunity is low, that's when this affects us or it invades the tissues. So it can be in a vaporizer where we are taking steam inhalation. If the water is not clean and if it's not dried up properly, you can get through that. So the water which you use for steam inhalation should be clean. It should be thoroughly dried after each use. There should not be any fungus or black spots on this vaporizers. These care should be taken. Even humidifiers also, we say that we should use distilled water or sterile water for inhalation or for the oxygenation. Nowadays we are using even methylene blue so as to prevent fungus from the humidifier. So any source, from anywhere you can get, because most of these patients are on oxygen, we think that it can come through a humidifier. So other alternatives like keeping that area sterile and so that the patient doesn't get infection from these sources.
Absolutely, all those necessary precautions must be taken, and early signs must also be looked out for by everybody who is either recovering from COVID-19 or are taking care of those recovering from COVID-19. Dr. Ashok and Dr. Ojha, thank you so much for joining us here on this broadcast. A quick break here on this edition, but news and updates continue on Times Now. Don't go away.